Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly, what am I going to be? So normally when it's a superhero game, it's an editor-in-chief, but this feels a little, I guess I'll be your handler. That feels, I think one of the Spy games said that. Because today we are going to be returning to a combination that we are doing while we're going through the summer before we return to our Traveler campaign. We are going to be making use of Kenneth Haidt and Gareth Ryder Hanrahan's outstanding Dracula Dossier adventure, or mega adventure, in particular using one of the adventures from their EDOM Files product. And we are using that to play, where is it? Did I not bring it in here? Well, I have one more book I got to grab, guys, but we are playing Champions, 6th edition. So it is Super Spies versus Vampires. What more could someone ask for? And with me today are the agents who will be following up on an investigation we began 2 weeks ago in Berlin in 1963. I'll go the order. I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got Carl.
Hello, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Santiago Villagatos, aka the Jaguar.
Nice. Next up, joining the team is Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham, and I am playing Sam Saunders. His handle is Crusader, and he is an agent from the British agency of Excalibur, and he is on assignment to this case.
Very nice. And last, but certainly not least, is David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm playing Elaine King, aka Solitaire, a mystic assassin turned good.
Very nice. So, guys, unlike last time, I do actually have a map of Berlin. Now, I have far too many goddamn things here. I think I wasn't sure what I was going to need last time, so I just brought, like, everything over from the old other Champions game. Don't think I'll need... Oregon, 1930. This is Berlin. So, what do you guys, for the super agents who were here last time, what do you recall having happened last time?
We were sent in by Marshal Eckert.
Correct.
Because Excalibur had asked for help as one of their local safe houses had been hit or gone silent. And he pulled some strings in the background to keep the police away from the investigation so we could go and have a look.
Correct.
And we found a bit of a mess in terms of there were bodies and sort of blood everywhere and things that didn't quite sort of make sense. Like someone had drawn like a mystic rune on the door that meant like keep evil out, and there were like fresh garlic flowers, weirdly enough, strewn about. So we did a bit of investigating, and it looked like an asset had come in from Eastern Europe, had been given a fake identity, but then they'd been hit by some suitably nebulous goons, and possibly some dark cloud of pure evil and death. But one of them escaped. I'm sure I have her name here somewhere.
Yeah, I have some.
Emily, one of the Excalibur agents we think is alive and escaped.
Yes.
We followed some of her trail, but we also we found some files indicating that they were looking at something to do with, like, just mentioned Draculesti, and sort of Romania, and the asset they were dealing with might have been part of the Secret Service, the Romanian Secret Service, we think. And then we followed this trail down a passage that connected to another building where there was a strange magic measuring machine.
Yep.
And some more blood, so we think Emily got injured in the escape. And then 2 goons attacked us. That, while so outwardly appearing human and alive, weren't quite as alive or maybe human as we initially thought. And I believe one of them is dead again, and the other one is subdued and in custody.
So I have some handouts for you as well. This would be the creature that showed up on the surveillance footage. Surveillance footage wasn't great. The thug one, the first handout I showed you there, that would have been the sort of leather jacket wearing folks who sort of forced their way in. There was someone that Santiago identified as well, a kind of well-known criminal figure from Bucharest, named the Rat. And this is the Rat here, guys.
But he wasn't one of those guys that we fought.
In going into the safe house or the listening post, yes, not one of the ones you fought.
Right.
And do you guys remember anything unusual about the way that they accessed what would have been a very secure listening facility?
Yeah, it looks like the security guard was manipulated to let them in.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was sense of mind control.
Yeah.
Okay, the listening station, incidentally, and I actually think some of these they might be wrong. So my apologies if the location's wrong. It's a small publisher, so errata doesn't get addressed as promptly as what it does in some of the bigger ones. But the listening post, was it on Fellnerstrasse? Yeah, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
So that should be around here, guys. That red dot is. Okay. And let me give you that is going to be very hard to read. Let me get that in a different color and bigger font. Oh, motherfuck.
And Graham, there's a missing briefcase.
Right.
The asset named Johan Harker, who's probably the secret police agent, had a briefcase when he entered the building, but the briefcase is nowhere to be seen. So we suspect Emily Grant took it and fled with it. And her last known whereabouts is she was heading to a subway station.
Yeah.
And then we were waylaid by I think we saw the two thugs on the roof across from the listening post when we entered, and then we fought them in sort of a back alley.
Yeah.
And you don't think it's a coincidence that Johan Harker was on the receiving end of a very particular type of death? As in, he wasn't shot.
No, I think he was targeted for the briefcase, and his death felt very personal because the others were gunned down, and he was sort of lifted up and had his, throat crushed.
Yeah.
The other things I missed last time, guys, this will be other stuff you would have. Okay, sweetie. Anna was not feeling well this morning. She's clearly feeling better now.
Yes.
So what you found on the murdered defector's body is a bunch of train ticket stubs that would have basically tracked from Romania up to Berlin, and you found about 1,000. I'm just trying to find the currency here. Romanian lei, I believe. I don't think that might not be right. In any event, a bunch of currency that would track back to Romania on the body as well. you would find something similar on the bodies of the two thugs that attacked you. And more to the point, remember, they actually followed you down that hidden passageway, the tunnel underneath the Strasse, to the whatever that telluric machine was. We'll assume that Graham Crusader's been briefed on all this stuff as he was arriving. You would arrived at Tempelhof, and then you'll be meeting up with... you are traveling with a Excalibur agent that I'll leave to you whether you think that you've worked with this fellow before or not. His name is Hugh Prenderville. And the two of you have sort of been rushed in here. I'll also throw out, if you want to have a buy-in for it, Emily is prime kind of potential girlfriend material for Crusader as well. So we had a girlfriend in the sort of like default backstory. You don't need that because I've got other buy-ins for you with this particular adventure. But if you want to have that connection as well, you certainly could. Even someone who is maybe, she's only been at the station for 2 years, so that may not work with the timeline, whatever you've got in your mind for how long he's been, since he's become. But let me show you where
it was a whirlwind.
Yeah. And I mean, you were a mess at the time too, so
yeah.
Who could have expected any commitment? All right, so the safe house, the Until safe house will be located, let's see here, right here. Well, right around here. Apologies to any Berlin residents for how much of a hash I'm about to make of your city's geography. One thing I'll point out too is because we are playing, for one, like an alternate history kind of thing, and also we're playing a superhero setting. History does not need to we don't need to assume that history is going to play out the way that it did in our world. That's something that is just, I think, important to make consequences matter for these kind of alt history things. So, however this ends up, we don't need to reconcile it with how things ended up in our world. So, that is the safe house that you're going to. I'll show you Mr. Prenderville as well. I want you to picture what you think. And this is 1963, so whoever is involved with Excalibur likely was involved with British intelligence, possibly in the First World War, likely in the Second World War. So I want you to picture in your mind what you think that fella might look like, or such a fella.
Right.
See
what month is it?
Sorry? March.
It's not the 23rd, is it?
It is not the 23rd, no.
Oh, shame. There's a very, very auspicious birth happening in England at that time.
It is March 7th, 1923, 1963. So the guys...
Yet to come. Okay.
Here you go. This is who you'll be traveling with. Hugh Prenderville.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
He looks like loads of fun.
Can you imagine that train ride I had? Oh.
Well, it would have been a flight as well, right? Because you're getting into Berlin quickly. What do you think your relationship is? I will tell you, personality-wise, Prenderville, as much as he is a senior, as much as he appears to be a senior guy, he's more... I think he's been sent here more. What the other guys know or suspect is that Excalibur only asked for Until assistance because you are dramatically underhanded right now. Normally, this is not something you necessarily would have wanted to bring back to, if it goes to Until, you can kind of assume it's probably going to get back to the Americans one way or the other. And the relationship between the respective espionage communities is a little strange at present. So Hugh is someone who has a great deal of experience within British intel, but is relatively new to Excalibur, which means some of the weirder shit that you are used to, he's going to be relatively inexperienced around.
Okay.
Okay, so not everybody who's involved in British intelligence needs to know about the, machinations of Queen Titania or the maneuvers of, Cotswold fairies or, black-hearted druids. They have enough on their plate with the Soviets to worry about, and with double or sometimes triple agents in some cases. So this fella, the fact that he has been sent in as sort of your first liaison, you can decide how much connection you've had with this guy before, but your experience would likely suggest they're trying to put a braver face on this than is necessary, which might explain why you're being sent along.
Maybe. I'm relatively untried, though, in my own way.
To a degree, yeah, which also probably speaks to the desperation in this of you go, get involved with them, do whatever you want. So you've had a chance to chat with Hugh. He is probably a Lord Prenderville or a Sir Hugh, right? To be involved in British intel at that level at that time?
Possibly, yeah.
So what is your conversation like with you? You've read the investigation. If you've taken a look at the investigation thus far document, that is the intel you have as you are touching down at Tempelhof.
So I suppose, Hugh, we need to get this tidied up really quickly if we can.
Indeed.
Have you had any experience of Romanian historical figures?
Kind of looks at you like over the bridge of his glasses.
Just looking at the report and taking it at face value.
If you're suggesting that we should be consulting with Irish writers.
Possibly.
I am aware of a program. The name Edom is something I was not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
I remain ignorant of it, but it appears this may relate to old business on our part.
I think it may. Is he say Edom with an N?
Edom. Edom.
Yep. Edom.
You can give us a intelligence check if you like. So go to your core tab and just click on intelligence.
Okay, go to core and intelligence. And there it is. Look at that, I made a roll.
Nice. So, yeah, how much do you think, like, when you, because you were part of, we talked about this beforehand, so for those listening at home, and for Graham, for your edification, Crusader is a character who's been in the game since the original edition. The original printing, Crusader was one of the sample build characters, so he's sort of a legacy character. Jaguar and Solitaire came in the 4th edition with the so-called Big Blue Book, but Crusader is one who's been around from the beginning. So those listening at home may be questioning, well, hold on, I seem to remember Crusader being American. We've taken some liberties with Crusader's backstory for this, but one of the things, since we've got you with Excalibur for this one, and presumably you were, young, spy beforehand, how much digging have you done into what Excalibur gets up to since you were, reconditioned to work with them?
Yeah, I think I'm going to suggest actually relatively little.
Okay.
I've been really surface on it and uncertain about my role in Excalibur. And I think part of the reason I've been assigned is to drop kick me into some commitment.
Okay. So the name, I think that there is something perhaps that just you happen to come across. Edom relates to Excalibur in some capacity, but it is not Excalibur necessarily.
Right.
So the perhaps like as a AirSats, 00 style agent beforehand, you may have had a more direct, approach to your missions. I've got a mission. I've got to do this now. The murkier world of Excalibur, setting aside the wildly, fantastic things that you've been exposed to in your limited time with Excalibur, or at least you've heard about, this may be your first time dealing with the actual supernatural firsthand then. So that's the extent that you're aware of. I think with that good enough of a roll too, you can tell that Prenderville seems, just based on the amount of fucking notes he's doing on the limited intel they've got, this guy seems to be a little nervous as well. You recognize the feeling of somebody who's out of their depth. He is just handling it in a different way, spiral book that is just being filled up with notes, although you can tell this guy's got that old school spy to him too, because it's all effectively in like secretarial shorthand or whatever the espionage equivalent is. So looking over it, you wouldn't know what you were looking at.
Right.
You guys arrive at Tempelhof. I did not get an image of that. But then you make your way through the streets of West Berlin. One thing that would strike you as you're flying in is how much brighter West Berlin is to East Berlin. So there are just, in the evening, many more lights that are in West Berlin as you're landing at Tempelhof. Almost as if this is like, would it not be for like the odd things out there? You would be thinking you're landing at night in a very small city. You arrive at Tempelhof and you guys begin making your way to the Until Safe House. Let's return to Jaguar and Solitaire. Let me bring you back to our Streets of Berlin kind of night picture here. I'm going to get rid of all these here. Boom. Get your new tokens. Carl, well, you know what? You don't see... I guess you can't see where your things are. I'm just going to put whatever token, whatever form you're in currently underneath your image.
Okay.
Or your avatar. So I'm assuming you're in Santiago form currently.
Yeah, I think I changed back.
Okay.
So you're gonna get things cleaned up here and then head to the subway, I thought.
Do you remember how... Oh, well, actually, the way we left things was with...
Okay.
No, actually, I'm fine with you guys continuing the investigation there. We left the session with Quantum calling in her fake credentials as a... what do you call it? A forensic, or not forensic, a coroner. So they're transporting the two bodies, one of which was being held in a coma by Solitaire, one of which seemed to have been clawed to death by Jaguar. Now, Solitaire, you will need to be present if you want to maintain that mystic slumber. Yeah. Are you transporting with the bodies, or are you guys going to try and figure out where Emily's trail leads?
I think Solitaire will transport with the bodies. She doesn't want to run the risk of the thug attacking anyone and injuring anyone else, and also making sure it gets to the safe house. Yeah. One thing we're doing, Graham, as well, because you guys are playing, secret agents, there's going to be limitations with respect to availability for timing and such. Anything you can conceivably think of that you need to draw on that a super spy would have access to, you can draw access to. You guys are superheroes, so you're not really, or at least you have superhero powers. You're not, whether you get a handgun or you get a fake ID or whatnot, it's not really going to make a huge bit of difference as terms of breaking the immersion or breaking the game. So feel free.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Feel free. So saying that, maybe if you stay with these guys, then I can try to track this woman down.
Okay.
So I'm sure there are probably other assets of these folks who are with the Mist thing, or the Mist thing itself. So
one other addition,
and then we can be in communication, of course, if we find anything interesting.
Yeah, because you got a telephone number to contact them.
or radios or whatever.
Yeah. So what I'll tell you is,
whatever.
it will actually bring you back relatively quickly, because while you are able to follow the trail using your tracking scent, or tracking smelling, I guess. You're not stinking up the place, but where it leads you is to here we go. You're able to follow the trail for the blood itself is for across the yard, and you can follow it for several blocks, but it seems to end at one of the U-Bahn stations. So they go down, and then once it gets into there, the trail will be sort of lost. Do you think, are you remaining hidden during this whole time too, or is there like a moment where some East German student gets the shit scared out of them because there's a weird jaguar?
You might see a shadow or something, and then Santiago is like, "Oh, our jaguar's like, I better change back."
Yeah.
Right. Before I enter the subway. Maybe I can go down there and at least see if any, ask the subway attendant if they've seen, I'm sure we can get a picture of the woman.
You don't have one on you right now.
I could describe her at least.
Yeah, because you may remember that you didn't know who survived, right? Weren't sure. So why don't you give us, if you've got a skill that you think that would apply for asking around, you can go ahead and give us a check with that. So you got a ton of skills as Santiago.
I know. Persuasion?
Sure.
Or streetwise, you think would work?
Streetwise, I'd buy. Yeah.
Either one.
Streetwise would probably be like, there's going to be folks who are, it's March in Berlin. There's going to be some beggars who will be in the station.
Yeah, I'll talk to them first before
or maybe in buskers or something like that. So
yeah. Okay.
Nice. Okay. So that's 3 degrees success. You think they saw someone who was like that too, and they can give you a description of the coat she was wearing. She was wearing a distinctive kind of green coat. It's a 60s. She's 29 years old, so she's wearing a little bit, brunette. And I think when you get back, where you were given the briefing for the...
I think if I can give them some money to jog their memory as to what line she took.
Oh, yeah. I think you got with that. That's a good roll. Not good enough to get that much necessary information, but he definitely can tell you that she took the train somewhere within Berlin. I'll tell you, this is one of the stations that does not also lead to like a checkpoint, because some of the U-Bahn stations will take you to a place and then you got to go through a checkpoint when you go into East Berlin. This is not one that leads into East Berlin.
Okay. No checkpoint, green coat. Okay.
Anything else you wish to check or ask about? You do see a lot of students around, I will tell you. Like for this time of night, there's a fair bit of students. Like it's folks with like book bags or just have that kind of, like drunk on a Wednesday kind of, vibe. I can't remember if this is a Wednesday or not on the calendar, but they have it. This is definitely like a student station, or at least at this time of night, there seems to be some students who are catching trains to go enjoy the Berlin nightlife.
I don't know if she'd be the type. I don't know if she'd be the type to get caught up in the nightlife or hide herself in the nightlife.
Yeah, I don't know what the German word is for Thirsty Thursday, but I imagine that that is something true for 1963 students in Berlin as well. Anything else you want to check out, Jack?
There's not going to be any cameras, and that's way too much. And we're supposed to remain like discreet, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Relatively,
I don't want to get official, right? Or ask officials anything. I probably have to liaison back with the rest of the group.
Sure.
Go back to headquarters.
Yeah, you take an U-Bahn back, and then you're there. Not an U-Bahn,
Johnny Cab. Wrong game.
I can't remember. No, I'm trying. Sorry, I'm trying to remember my fucking Duolingo German, but I can't remember the name for it now. Okay, so then, Der Stiege Donnerstag. Love it. And it's got great alliteration too.
Fantastic. That's taxi.
Wunderbar. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
it's Thursday. Thursday is Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah.
It actually works in the alliteration and the.
Thirsty Donnerstag. Love it. Solitaire. What are you thinking as you? So there's like a German ambulance that would be transporting these bodies back for you. One, like they're both remaining completely still, but you're able to sort of recast whatever magic is yours. How do you view your abilities? Is it magic that is facilitated with the widget? Is it like some kind of latent psychic ability, or?
Yeah, I think the cult sort of did something to her that awakened these powers, but she's not, because she sort of fled after that first mission, she's not fully trained to the widget, which she doesn't fully understand. She just knows it helps, so it makes it easier for her to channel her powers, and if she doesn't have the widget, it's much harder and more difficult, and obviously drains her more quickly.
Okay.
So she doesn't fully understand the connection there yet.
What does widget do while you are in here too? Do you keep him in your purse? Do you keep him in your pocket, or does he sort of float around?
I think if I'm with civilians, like potentially these two, the others in the ambulance, or the however we get transported, then she'll have it in a purse.
Okay.
Which is in action, then it'll sort of floating about.
And I imagine it can still communicate with her while in the purse as well, or wherever it's being stored, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you can give us one thing I did as well, is I gave you an arcane background skill, because it does strike me that your training, even on a defensive basis, would have likely included some of that stuff. So you can give us a. Well, actually, you don't even need to make a roll for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to treat like any knowledge skills or like gather information skills, I'm going to treat the way that I do in D20 games, where like there's a baseline of information you're always going to get. And then if you choose to roll, we'll also get some additional stuff from how good your roll is. That sort of is a happy compromise between the like gumshoe approach of as long as you do something, you're going to find the clue, but also give meaning to the dice rolls and to your abilities. What I can tell you as far as vampires are concerned is that these two things, as far as what you've seen thus far, track what you... Oh, David, did we lose you in Roll20, or did your camera just freeze?
I think my camera just froze. I'm still here.
Awesome. Got you back. Okay. What you know about these creatures thus far, like the whole dead body moving around, the teeth, these didn't demonstrate any other capabilities from it, but I think you would be aware that there are what we would call vampires. There are different types in the world as well. So you would be aware. I don't think you have direct experience with them to date, but you're at least aware from your scholarship or your training that there definitely are more varieties than just the classic Western, Bram Stoker-esque thing. Do you have any questions that we might draw on your background or your training?
I think she would wonder, obviously having been part of a cult, there's always like hierarchies and cells, and she would wonder where these two, because obviously struck her as very like thugs. People tend to do like a bit of roughing up with dirty work, so she's wondering if they, like, where they sit in the potential hierarchy of what's going on, if they're just local nobodies that would not have been connected to the bigger picture until they were activated, or if they're whoever sent them is much more involved in like I said, if they've been sent by someone like Eckhart and they're our equivalent, or if they're just sort of like the equivalent if Eckhart had sent you local police officers to do what we had done. So she's just sort of trying to make sense of where they might sit in there.
Sure. Why don't you give us a arcane, I can't remember what it's called, arcane world?
Arcane lore.
Arcane lore. Terrific. 5 degrees of success. Okay. So what I probably you've access to 2 different bodies here while you're sort of riding around in the back of this ambulance by yourself. You can easily open the body bag, move one of them over, and look for a distinctive brand or tattoo, because you are aware that these guys, if they're from Romania, and if they have vampiric qualities, as ludicrous as it may think to be, there is one name that is associated with that, and that is Dracula. He is a fact in this world, and more to the point, it is something that you are familiar with because your masters, whatever their long-term goals were, they were not necessarily aligned with Dracula, but it is said in life he studied with your masters. What is underappreciated about Vlad Tepes is that he also, in addition to being a fearsome warrior and ambitious ruler or politician, he grew up in the court of the Turks. He's as educated as any of their children would be, in particular in ways of astrology, necromancy, astromancy, and sorcery. It said beyond that, he also learned with your secret masters, and they have still... either you don't remember their name, because if you were captured, to reveal the secret masters would be, of course, bad. But you know that he also, even in life, had, like, secret cabals or cults or secret societies that served him. And what you find is a branding on this fella. So whatever he is right now, he is marked as well as a servant of Dracula. If you choose to check both, you find the same marking on both of them. Now, the way that these are on there, this is not... Legends say that one of Dracula's cabals was some order of knights that he worked with. It was popularized that he was beheaded and his head placed on a spike outside of Istanbul, Istanbul. That does not seem to be the case, at least based on the way that your masters wrote about Dracula, and it could have been that cabal of knights. They would be swearing oaths as well. This is not that kind of brand. This is something akin to what a serf or some other servant. Without experience with these particular vampires, it's uncertain to know whether they have the same kind of mind control powers or hypnosis that is described in Stoker's novel. But one thing that is somewhat underappreciated, Stoker's novel talks about how he could control people over vast distances. The will that Dracula is said to be able to impose on not only enemies, but his servants. These servants may be utterly devoid of any interest other than serving the master, having served under such a terrible will's yoke for so long. So does that answer your question?
Yes, very much so, yeah. I think there's a moment when she realizes that, well, when she sort of remembers that Dracula is said to have trained with her masters. That's where she sort of focusing on it. And in response to something about, I would imagine if this was a TV show, we would never actually hear Widget speak, but she sort of responds to Widget as if they have a conversation, but it's not clear whether there's actually conversation or not. So she will say something like, that's most troubling indeed. There are many dark and terrible secrets that he knew before he became who he is now. So we must be careful. I must warn the others.
The other thing worth considering is it may be difficult to parse what Dracula's abilities are as, a Nosferatu, and what his abilities are as a sorcerer.
I'm sure he found interesting ways of combining the two.
Creative as well. Do you have do you think, a emotional connection to Widget as well, or does Widget just communicate verbally and is dispassionate?
I think it's definitely an emotional connection because she doesn't like to be alone.
Yeah.
And she's slightly afraid of being left behind and all that. So I think for her, I don't know if Widget actually, this might all just be her projecting onto Widget, but for her, it's definitely an emotional connection.
Okay. Then knowing that, this is something unusual for you, and I don't think that, apart from when you turned against the Masters, both you and perhaps your fear when when it was revealed to you what you were actually charged with doing and you decided to change your mind, you would have no doubt been scared of doing that, and maybe some of that concealed whatever fear that Widget may have had. But Widget is definitely more scared than you are right now. The trip back to the safe house is otherwise uneventful. And when you arrive, you're able to get yourself, in and situated. We'll say that Dr. What is... I don't remember what Quantum's surname is. I think her name is Starlin...
Chambers?
Is it Chambers?
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Chambers is perhaps doing whatever autopsy thing. What are you thinking of doing with the one that's in the coma? Because that will not last necessarily forever.
I assume there's a holding facility in this building we're in, though. Just like a room where we can tie him up and sort of handcuff him.
There is, but what if the legends are true and they can turn into mist? Or they can control people's minds with a gaze, or they can turn into a bat or a rat.
So very good questions. I think in Solitaire's mind, from what she's seen of these two, she kind of doubts they can do any of that. It didn't strike her as that.
Okay.
Because they followed them. They followed physically in their goon form rather than. But she'll talk to Eckert and say, she'll list these are possibilities, but I think for now some handcuffs and duct tape and should hopefully do the trick and just have two people guarding them.
Okay.
Just in case, but.
So what you find when you arrive too? You talk to them and Until is ready to take on super espionage things. Like if someone's got fabricated a claw that allows you to tear open the dimensions and step through and form allow surviving Nazis who hid there to come pouring out, they are ready to fucking go. Vampires, on the other hand, this is a little out of their wheelhouse. But what Field Marshal Eckert will tell you when you get back is that they actually have a liaison. Excalibur, it seems, found someone to be able to arrive, and they have not only got a liaison coming in, someone else, one of their agents, to assist with this investigation. They've also set up a meeting with a member of the West Berlin Polizei. So we have a facilitation. We're going to do that at one of their facilities, not here, because we don't want they don't need to know where our safe house is. But perhaps they are better equipped. Although, the status of their listening post doesn't exactly scream competence. But perhaps they have some intel as to how best to hold these things. Do you have any experience in this? This is Field Marshal asking you, Solitaire.
Well, she'll ponder for a moment. Given her arcane knowledge, I assume her cult would have had some kind of runes that block, like, her teleportation powers. She doesn't know if that would apply to someone turning into mist and just,
Yeah, quite
floating
possibly.
away. But she'll mention that if there are ways of blocking some of the powers I can do, they might help. But I don't really know for certain.
Do you remember one of the things, apart from opening the door, do you remember one of the things that the security guard, I think his name was Kaczynski or something like that, what he did before the final assault occurred? I'm thinking of something over the mantle of the door.
Yeah, they put like a warding sign.
Blood. Right, there was dried blood that was smeared over the door, and Santiago said, "Oh, it reminded him of Passover."
Interesting.
Given the state we found them all in, I'm not sure that worked.
But you may also remember that Quantum noticed that it looked like someone had cleaned it up. Someone had smeared that off of there before entering the listening post.
Worth a try. She would have considered it, and like, that's worth a try. She will.
So perhaps that's when you're thinking when Santiago. I think that you probably took, because you're in the train station, you're probably gonna be able to take a train to try to get back to where you are. And would you give us just a perception check, please, Santiago?
Perception.
Yes, please. It'll be on the core tab. It's about middle of the page, little bit, middle column.
Sense got it. Yeah, found it.
Okay, perfect. Holy hell.
Nice.
So you're on the train, and what do you like? Are you, when you've got time where you're just on your own, are you taking notes? Are you just sort of thinking? Are you smoking? Are you just taking in the crowd? What do you think that Santiago does when he's idle?
Well, according to his picture there, he's probably smoking. He's looking at the crowd, watching the crowd. Probably, looks like it could be kind of fun, but I'm at work right now.
Okay.
Type of thing. Have to come back here when I'm not on work. So, but observing the crowd, I would say. Casually.
So I'm trying to make a German joke, and I'm not sure if this is going to work. It's because I can't remember if this is how you conjugate it, but Alter Berliner? Does that mean Old Berliner? Yeah?
Yeah.
Duolingo! Worth the price. What you see sitting across from you, a little further down, you're looking in, it's a Thursday night crowd, and it's in a student sort of area. They pile off of the subway quite, or the underground quite soon. And so it's just other people who are commuting, to later at night. You can tell that you have drawn the interest of this one old fella who is on the train. And whether that's because you happen to be dressed a little differently, you're dressed like a North American, or not, he definitely sees you, and he's watching you. Like, you made that's a great perception roll. He has a paper in front of him, but he's clearly not reading it. And if you make any indication that you've, like the recognition you get sometimes when you see with eye contact, he nods his head towards you.
Oh, yeah. I give him like a little sarcastic salute.
Okay.
Keep an eye on what he's up to.
Sure. He kind of watches you, and then he returns with a fairly crisp salute that might suggest military history or a military background.
Any particular, I guess, Right, different militaries have different salutes. I guess I was kind of.
Yeah, it does. I don't. You rolled really, really well. You would guess that this is something like we're talking. This guy could very well have served the Kaiser.
Oh, well, that.
He definitely. I mean, he's got to be in his 60s, perhaps 70s. 1963, not inconceivable. This fellow was involved in 2 world wars and managed to survive them. He makes no effort to approach you, though, and just sort of watches. The vibe you get from him is not one of aggression, but he's definitely watching you and is quite comfortable with you knowing that he's watching you. Other people kind of come and go on the station, and when it comes to your stop to get off and make your way to the safe house, he makes no indication that he's going to be getting up as well.
Yeah, I'll make sure that he doesn't follow. But when I have a chance, I'll radio in and say, describe the guy and say this guy was kind of watching them.
You don't have a radio because it's yeah. But if you're making your way in, you look back as the car is pulling away. You can imagine seeing him once again giving you that crisp salute, and then it carries off down the U-Bahn.
Yeah.
You are walking up to the safe house itself around the time when the cab arrives with Sam, aka Crusader, and Sir Hugh arrive. So you guys do that kind of thing where like you walk up to the stairwell and you realize that you're both kind of heading to the same place. Sir Hugh looks at you, Santiago, and kind of does a up and down Jaguar.
Santiago Villagatos. I extend my hand.
Sir Hugh Prendeville, and my colleague Samuel Saunders.
Ah, Crusader. Since we're using our fake names.
Oh, you're muted, Graham.
Oh, hello. I'll do that. It sounds almost like a jaguar growl there.
Yeah. Anna's always helping to add the ER.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever gotten comments about the dog barking in the background?
Have I ever? Sorry.
Gotten a comment about dog barking.
You know what? Not for years and years and years. Like
I got a negative comment about the dog barking in the background. It's funny.
I've had before like this, but it's been like, Christ, that's close to like 8 years ago was the last time I remember getting something like that.
Oh, okay.
Like for one, like we're not fucking in a recording studio, so like there's going to be the sounds of life around. So I think most folks seem to get that.
Right.
But I also there's a reason I make jokes about Anna being in the background too, because you know. Sorry, Graham, you were going to.
That was a good jaguar that you did.
Yeah.
Little growl there.
What were you saying, Graham? Sorry.
Crusader.
I was just saying yes. Hello, Crusader. It is. Jaguar, is it?
Can you show? Yeah. Can you show that picture of Pankerville again, or whatever?
Yeah. Sir Hugh.
Ah, Four Eyes. Good to see you. Since we're using our secret spy names here in the open.
I turn to him and say, I had absolutely no idea.
Sir Hugh gives you the, once again, that look over the glasses kind of thing. And he does not say it, but it has that ring of Americans. And then
I say Argentinian, actually.
Yeah, true. So the three of you make your way to the safe house and through. Solitaire, you would have to at least, have you come up with a resolution for how to safely store these things for now, or how to interrogate the one you've got in a mystic coma?
Yes, I think she'll try and do the protective symbols they had at the listening post, but then also keep the chap like tied up to handcuffed tied to a chair. So more classic spy ways of restraining someone.
Love it.
And she'll probably want to wait till Jaguar is back.
Oh, to do all that?
No, to talk to the
got it. Okay.
surviving vampire. Like she'll do that tidying up, and she'll do some sort of wicked-looking cult knife she still has to do the classic.
Yeah.
Incredibly unsafe. Drawing out blood.
Don't forget the garlic.
Yeah.
You would have
Should we
thought that it
put
would be the
garlic?
Inquisition that is the bane of most cults, but it turns out it's tetanus.
Yes.
So what you find as you come in, there is Santiago, one of the agents, the Until agents, leads you into a room where Solitaire is talking to Field Marshal Eckhart. And Eckhart turns and says, Prenderville. And he makes his way over, and the two of them shake hands. I think we said Eckhart is like German. I think I might have said Swedish last time. I meant Swiss. So I think he's German-Swiss, more so than Swedish. But he introduces the two and says, right, I see you've run into Jaguar on the way up. This is Solitaire, and Quantum is busy with other matters. And this Samuel Saunders, a.k.a. Crusader, at your disposal.
Hello there. I assume the room is all cleared, and I'm free to examine and walk around without disturbing. Fine. Okay, thank you.
You can see that there is whatever intel you've looked over in the report. It's clear where it's come from because you can see some of it in here. The blinds are all down and whatnot, so like the place is secured. One thing that you would notice that is different from, say, yours, every safe house you've been in Excalibur tends to have other things like, nails of cold iron that are driven into the door frame, or other sort of little folk magic type approaches. Absolutely absent from here.
Okay.
So, have you any questions? So we'll assume you guys sit down. They provide the briefing of what they have uncovered thus far. And Prenderville looks at you a couple of times throughout this, Crusader, and kind of, whether it's approving or disapproving, it's difficult to tell because you haven't spent enough time with him. Do you have any questions as they go through the summary of what's happened thus far? Who's died?
Can you just clarify to me how they got in? Was it here? And I'll point to the place that it looks like they got in. It's here. And you say there was blood on the entrance here.
Yes, above the door.
So there was a steel door. Forgive me if you're already knew this and you're just role-playing, Graham, but it was a steel door that controlled the security entrance, where there was a security guard stationed. That I've got it written down in the PDF here.
I did look, but I did.
I figured as much. Yeah. So Kurzakian was the security guard who was at the door. And then from the entrance there where Kurzakian would have been leading into the post proper, that's where there was the blood warding that was performed that he seemed to have removed by scrubbing it off himself.
Right. Do we know if he was invited in? I say.
The footage does not indicate. We have footage of the assailants entering, and then you can.
Yeah, well, it appears from the
we were looking for to see the cloud. That's right. We didn't see it was very hazy on the footage.
What you know is that the door was the steel door was not forced. No explosives, no heavy tools. It seems to have been opened.
Sorry, I just have to say I have holidayed many times in Whitby, and therefore that's my principal connection with the possible assailant.
Nice.
Interesting, fascinating. I sort of have a look around for myself to take the place in with my own eyes, having read the report, maybe seeing one or two of the photographs or something. I'm now sort of just going to smell the air and take a look around, but that's fine.
One thing that
But by the way, Graham, we're at the Until house, not the listening post that was attacked.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, that's fine. I would like to see it. Yeah,
the listening post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that Prenderville would have mentioned as well is whatever speculation that the novel, whatever truth there may be in Stoker's novel, it's worth remembering he is a foreign enemy of the Empire in that novel. He is trying to take over the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Prenderville's way of reconciling this is to treat it like any other enemy of Great Britain.
Yes, well, it's clearly the case. Yeah.
So this is not a work of fiction.
He once again exchanges a knowing look with Crusader and looks back and says, "We are not at liberty to share what might be accurate or not from Stoker's recollections, but you can assume most of what is recorded as fact, both in the English language original and in the Icelandic edition." And I think Jaguar, just because you've got a pretty great roundabout knowledge between all of your skills, the Iceland edition of Dracula adds a bunch of other elements to it, including coordination, shall we say, among some British nobles with Dracula.
Oh.
The coincidence of this individual traveling from Romania with these documents, whatever is in that briefcase, is important enough for the listening post to take it in and begin immediate translation. Incidentally, Miss Grant would have been the individual performing that translation. It was one of the tasks she performed for us at the post. He looks over at you once again. If Miss Grant... Is Miss Grant still alive?
I believe so. We should send out the Americans call it a bolo. Be on the lookout for.
I know you are Argentinian, but do you feel a trapping weapon would assist in this?
What?
I think, Crusader, you may realize that he is confusing a bolo with a bola.
I say superhero adjuster, and I do the thing with the nose.
Yeah.
That is a bola.
I see. We have tomorrow morning a meeting.
What if the others? What if those vampires are on the hunt for her too?
I think it is a reasonable assumption that they are. I am surprised that they escaped. That she escaped. She is quite young. We can share her current address as well. And if she is alive, and if she is following standard protocol, tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock sharp, she should be making contact.
Okay.
If she does beforehand, she has been compromised. We have someone monitoring that, and at 7 o'clock tomorrow, I will be taking that call at the embassy. you are welcome, as a courtesy to Until, to attend as well. Until that time, Crusader will be liaising on behalf of our agency, and he has an appointment early tomorrow morning with Antonia Iger, a liaison with the local Polizei. They should be able to assist. It's their assistance that allowed us to preserve the scene for your investigation. Samuel wishes to see the scene. I trust that you can accommodate that.
We can take him there.
What, he looks down at the papers. What else has transpired while we were en route? I see that you encountered some of these Romanians.
Yes, one of them is in room 3B. We could possibly ask some questions, though I do not know how talkative they are in their state.
And the other one is being diced at Dr. Chamber.
I see. He kind of looks... This is that sort of like, you know... what's the phrase? The steady upper lip? Or whatever.
Stiff upper lip.
Stiff upper lip. This guy, there's a brief moment where he sort of looks over at you, Crusader, and it's the first time you've seen Sir Hugh kind of panic, because he's really over his, you know, and then he says, you have one of these Nosferatu here.
Yes.
Sam, you need to make a roll. You get the feeling you're going to maybe need to take the lead here, because Sir Hugh's a bit like running over in his head. No doubt he's, you know, familiarized himself with the Stoker novel, so he doesn't know what to expect from this. I
believe this is a very, for lack of a better way of categorizing them, a very low-ranking vampiric creature that it exhibits the full strength and power of Dracula or one of the others. And I've tried some, and she'll have her hand will be bandaged up from the, you know, drawing the blood sigils. I've tried some protective wards, and the creature is tied up, so we should be, with a few of us interrogating them together, we should be as safe as can be. But I'm not a people person, so I've not like interrogated anyone before, so I didn't know. Crusader, is that something you're more familiar with? Asking questions, getting answers. You strike me as a person who can get that done.
I can certainly ask. I'm looking at what I've got. He doesn't have very much in the way of that. He has criminology, which isn't going to help here.
Deduction could.
Deduction, maybe, if things are placed in front of him. Extracting from a Romanian minor Nosferatu is probably, he's the sort of thing he would punch very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, we can do good cop, bad cop until the thing punches back, and then it'll be bad cop and Catman.
Yeah.
I mean, I could try and force it to answer our question, but there's a risk it will damage its brain, and if it's already mind controlled by someone else, I don't necessarily want the direct connection between what might be controlling its mind. And
is that Solitaire's? Sorry, Graham. Is that Solitaire's concern, or is she concerned about potentially touching the mind of Dracula if it's lurking?
Yeah, that's a concern. Is that if she tries to mind control someone who is mind controlled by Dracula, she's very much concerned that it will create a direct link to. Yeah, so that's what she does not, unless it's absolutely necessary. Oh yeah, she would have said, I could try, but the risk is that whatever is controlling this creature would connect to me. And
sorry, Graham, we interrupted you. What were you going to say?
No, I was simply. I wasn't aware of that. I was just thinking, are you able to block the control?
Quite possibly.
Try.
And that would make the subject considerably more malleable to questioning. Just a thought.
So mechanically, the way we would do that is we treat it like any other contested roll. Like whatever their, you've got, I think, 12d6 in mind control. We'd use that as a contest against whatever degree of mind control is exerted on him. And you just count the body.
I do appreciate the risks.
Well, Sir Hugh says, omelets and eggs and all that. Perhaps we should get to the interrogation. But first, a 5-minute break. Because we're already at our mid-session break.
Wow.
For a cup of tea, I think.
Yeah. All right, so for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right. Hey, THX. Hope you're having a good weekend. Thus far. It's going by far too quickly on my side. My goodness. All right. Oop. So one thing I'll point out too, this is more consequential in combat, but with the superhero stage in the hero system, you can spend flat out 10 extra endurance to push one of your abilities. Now what that does is it gives you an extra 10 points, 10 character points worth of whatever your skill is. So for mind control, for instance, that would give you 2d6 extra on top of the 12d6 that you have.
Okay.
So if you wanted to try, and you're going to be able to recover your endurance as soon as you take a quick rest anyway. So it is a more meaningful spend when you're in combat and having to track endurance more consistently, but it's something you can always do.
Okay, nice.
And if you want as well, you can make a skill check to try and figure out some way of, like, if you can come up with a narrative justification for what approach you're using or other things you're doing, like you did with describing the warding in your in your for the prisoner, similar type of thing you could do. Okay. Okay, looks like we're all back, and I believe we have a vampire to interview. Boo. Boo, Madison.
Cease and desist by Anne Rice.
Exactly. All right, so this is sort of what the fellow would look like. One of the hardest visual references I had trying to find was, generic street thug from early 60s Eastern Europe. Unsurprisingly, there is not a lot of reference material for that. Although, apparently, motorcycle gangs were a thing in Eastern Europe after World War II, like they were in America. Very different in some ways, but very surprisingly similar in others.
A lot of sidecars.
Not so much. It's the fact they're using Soviet motorcycles, because they're not.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's something. The accoutrement is not quite the same. It's not the leather jacket, aesthetic. It's a very different thing. But okay, so Solitaire, this person is still in your sort of stupor. I'm assuming you've been going in, or did you want to let them wake up and see how the wards are holding?
Yeah, in my mind, while we were sort of briefing Crusader and so Brando, I think she would have wanted to check if the wards hold. I would not have constantly.
Okay.
No, she's open. When she opens the door, he's still there.
Yeah. If mist comes out, you guys be careful. All right, so what you find, neither I think Santiago and Crusader both have deduction in this. So what you find in the room, are you thinking like a kind of a classic, police interrogation type room, where it's like a, you know, two-way mirror on one side. There's a metal kind of bolted to the ground desk, and then there's this fella sitting on an uncomfortable chair.
And then the thing that stands out is the massive bloody sort of sigils painted on the wall and the ceiling that are slightly at odds with the rest of the aesthetic.
Solitaire, would you give us a perception check, please? I think the other two guys, just because of deduction, are going to be able to pick this up, but core tab up down the... Oh, you got it. You got it. So when you walk in, this person, are you picturing he's like, you know, handcuffed to the chair as well?
And his back, and then his legs tied to the chair.
Okay. So as you all walk in, you sort of, you know, take in the room, as it were, and Santiago and Crusader, like, you can take in, like, wow, there's an awful lot of black magic at work here for what's inside here. Crusader, this is sort of like, you're like, oh, this is more like it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
More consistent with an Excalibur, you know, safe house.
Super fascinating.
But what both of you can notice, so and Solitaire, you'll notice as well. Solitaire, so this guy doesn't look any more. He doesn't look beat up at all. Like, Jaguar didn't have to lay a claw on him last time. There was a combination of the women's powers that really secured him. So he doesn't look roughed up at all. But what you can see is there is a mixture of blood and sputum on the ground on the right side of this guy's chair that you would expect, you know, I think Santiago and perhaps Crusader, like, you guys have used aggressive, you know, inquiries before. And if you beat the hell out of somebody, it's easy to make the mouth bleed and that kind of, like, you know, spitting blood out onto the ground. You'd think that this guy may have been, like, beaten quite heavily, but he's pristine as far as his physical condition are concerned. So while there are markings on the walls here, this guy clearly has managed to spit a mixture of blood and sputum onto the ground. And you all sort of look at one another. He hasn't escaped, but he looks like he's just studying you. And he's remaining absolutely, as they say in Berlin, stumm. Crusader and Jaguar, perhaps this is where, like, seeing that on the ground, the two of you exchange a knowing look of, like, okay, you're getting a sense of what type of, you know, agent you each are. What happens next?
So Solitaire will turn to Crusader and Jaguar and say, I will leave the talking to you, and I will try and clear the air.
Thank you. There is a stench in here, I say.
Okay.
That's not gonna get better with this as her hands start glowing with, like, you know, demonic evil cult power.
Okay. And where
I think she will
sort
try. Yeah. She will try her. So she's not trying to mind control him, but she's just trying to create almost like static around his mind, so that if anyone else is mind controlling him, it interferes with their mind control. She doesn't want to touch whatever is controlling him directly.
Okay.
She just wants to sort of create almost like a Faraday cage around his mind to keep other interferences at bay.
Yeah, love it. Let's go. Are you going to push your power as well?
As I think so, yeah.
Okay, so why don't you give us a roll of 14d6, and we'll count the body, and then I'm going to do 12d6 for what is currently occupying his mind, as it were. All right, so you got 1, 2, 3 1s and 1 6. So that would be, you rolled 14, that would be down to 11, and then up to 12. So you got 12 as your total. I got 12 as my total as well. So what you can feel when you get in there, there is, I don't think it's like physically like your eyes are blinded and you're seeing something else, but it's your extra sensory perception that is allowing you to feel something. And this is where we would have our, horror jump scare moment, because you can feel... Where is it here? Yeah. Like you were in a room completely filled with darkness and mist, and that there is something lurking in there with a malign intelligence.
It's got to go.
And unfortunately, you're not able to necessarily break that connection. That doesn't mean that the interrogation cannot proceed. It means with that effort, it's not sufficient. With that connection, Solitaire, however Widget communicates with you, it's the equivalent of being like a nervous chatterbox at this point. It's very unsettled by whatever just happened.
Yeah, so Widget is sort of flying around her erratically. Realize that it isn't working, and she doesn't want to keep this connection. So she'll sort of wince in pain and sort of stagger back a bit and try and cut off the connection to her mind.
That is an excellent point. You will try. So why don't you give us... do you wish to push again when you are... I guess we should start taking... Yeah, so why don't you spend... Remember, track from the character sheet. 10 endurance for the push, and then I think it's like 2 or 3 for your...
3, so it's 26 in total.
Yeah. 10 plus 3, 13, right? Oh yeah, 26 for the second effort. Yes, you're absolutely right.
One, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll roll first so you can see what you're trying to beat this time. Oh.
Oof.
That's a 13.
Now, so Kevin, just remind me, how do you read that?
So a 1 counts as 0, a 2 to a 5 counts as 1, a 6 counts as 2.
Right.
So the shorthand way of doing it, find the 1s, subtract that number from it, and then add whatever amounts you got from your 6s. Nice! So that is 15. So whatever was trying to grab onto your mind, you're able to cast off. And
I see.
What I'd like you to... give us a perception check again, Solitaire. Please. You cannot... Oh, gosh. Fucking Duolingo is failing me. Whatever the German word is for wait. You hear that, or you sense that as you finally pull free from this connection. And you are certain it is German. One of the things that doesn't carry over with mental connections is obviously like accent, right? But you can, in a sense, feel that when someone is thinking in their native tongue. And whoever was on the other end of that connection is thinking in Deutsch.
Interesting.
So you can hear that whatever has gone on between you and this, the thug doesn't flinch whatsoever. There's no reaction from that. So Jaguar and Crusader, you hear Solitaire kind of gasp and go back, and now Widget is just going fucking crazy floating around her.
And that's visible to all of us.
Yeah, which is like kind of a... Yeah. Well, you describe it. Go ahead. David, how do you think it looks?
I imagine sort of almost like a D8 in its basic shape, but with sort of weird, sort of runes inscribed and sort of out of a metal where you're not quite sure, the way it reflects the light, what kind of metal it is. But so very sort of gothic looking. And then depending on what she does, the runes on each of the sides sort of seems to change.
And it's very agitated right now. You also notice that she seems to sometimes have one-sided conversations with it, Crusader. Because you can't hear it speak.
Right.
You get used to it.
They should return to you and say, I cannot break its hold, but I don't think it's him that we are directly dealing with.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Well, I don't know that feeling. I've never been married. So, let's...
So this guy's conscious, yeah?
He is, and I think he makes eye contact with Solitaire. And he is... Oh, it's 291. Here we go. He's actually going to attempt something. What is your DMCV currently, Solitaire?
8.
8. Wow, nice. And you've got a mental resistance, right? Or mental defense as one of your defenses?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, he's going to try, he says in, gosh, I really should have looked this up. This is I'm like 185 days into Duolingo German. It's embarrassing how little I fucking know so far. Like, it's really disappointing that, you know. Okay, here we go. He looks up and he says in heavily accented German to you, Solitaire, release me. And you can tell he just tried to exert his will on you, Solitaire. Like, this is, you know, it's not quite the parallel. I'm trying to think of it's a fucking kid playing basketball with Shaq. Like, is the level of ability he's got compared to yours? Like, are you like? It's almost cute that he thought this would work on you.
So she will just look at him coldly and say no, and so shatter his attempt at her mind.
Okay, he sort of shakes his head, and he looks at the other two guys as if he's going to perhaps try something. So I think, guys, I think we may have to drop into a combat order here. So let me quickly populate our thing here.
I may have to quickly hit him very hard.
Please do.
Okay, it's that, and
although I may not hold on to that idea for very long.
yeah. Okay.
Ooh, it would be interesting if I... Yeah.
There we go. And I just need to add a turn tracker for our fella. I got up this morning to make sure I had these things ready to... Oops, wrong thing. Ready to go. It's under my villains tip.
That's my fault.
Let's see here.
Crusader's gonna get to punch him. That's for sure.
There we go. All right, and let me add him in. Oops. All right. So, the way... Let me make sure everything just came in. Fantastic. I cracked the... we had difficulty yesterday with the... I couldn't figure out where my tracker needed to be in the order in order to properly add other ones in. But I got it sorted. Okay, here we go. Let me add this in. Every combat always starts, unless there's a surprise, circumstances, or whatnot, in segment 12. So we're going to back up to the start of segment 12 here. And the order we take our turns is determined by order of your dexterity score. So it's the way it's displayed on the thing is 100 minus your dexterity score. That tells you what order it's going to be in. So Crusader, you're on the same room. This guy is bound, so he's effectively got half DCV. He's not entangled. He's not able to do anything or move, but you can see from the interaction between Solitaire and him, you kind of gathered what just happened. So would you like to do anything? Or you could, for instance, delay and wait for others to go if you'd like. But if you have, as you say, you want to just fucking wallop this guy?
I think I'll wallop the guy because I think he's going to do something. So I'll just go in and do that.
Okay.
I'm going to strike him.
Okay.
I'm not going to haymaker.
Probably good. So the way a haymaker works is it starts on one segment and then it lands at the end of the next one.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay. So like the way you got kind of like mechanically you want to time your haymaker is if you have two actions, like if you have an action and there's at least one more segment before the next person, you can see that on the turn order. So for instance, with these thugs, if you started a haymaker on segment 4, they don't have an action until segment 6. So that's where you'd be able to land a haymaker successfully. On the turn order tracker?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Do I need to sort it?
No, I've got it sorted.
Okay.
What is active right now is you.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay.
You're at the top right now. But if you scroll down and if you make it wider and scroll out, you can see that further down it'll tell you when everyone has their actions. So you can kind of anticipate and plan some of your stuff accordingly.
Okay.
It's also a good way to get a break if you need to catch your breath and regain some endurance or some stun.
It seems all of a jumble, but it probably isn't. Like
once you see, like we're going to go through segment 12. The way that the game works is each turn is divided into 12 segments. Your speed tells you how many of those segments you act on, and the game calls those your phases.
Right.
The game is 40 years old, so it's remarkably consistent in its nomenclature. So when it says something is like every phase, every segment, every turn, you can rely that it's correctly identifying the unit of time. So what we're going to do, start of every turn, you're going to decide what you're going to do, which sounds like you're going to step forward and fucking wallop this guy. Yeah. So then you don't have it sounds like you use hand-to-hand attack, so you can click on pay endurance for that. Because I believe you've got that active or selected right now.
Power. Yeah, melee attack. Yeah. That's click to active.
Not click to activate. You're going to click on pay endurance.
I'm going to click on. Do I click on the name to use power or no?
Top left. It'll pay endurance. That way, if there's any active, that's just a good habit to get into because if you have other powers that cost endurance, there you go. Next, you're going to set your combat skills.
Done.
Okay, and then select which maneuver you want to do. Because this guy is stationary, that offensive strike we used before, which adds +4 dice to damage, probably a good.
Right, sorry. So skills. So skill levels. Do I click the ones like 2 levels with hand-to-hand combat?
Yeah. So what you're doing with your skill levels, go to you're going to go to combat.
Got it.
Looks like you've got them all set to OCD. Is that what you wanted to do?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Then select a maneuver. There's really no reason to not use a martial maneuver because they're always going to be superior to the default ones, right? So you could do a martial strike if you're concerned about him striking back. If you're not concerned about him striking back or having a chance to hit him, you could do offensive strike, which adds +46 damage.
I will start with a martial strike.
Okay. So take that. There you go. And then going back to powers and hit on your melee attack.
Powers. Melee attack. Use power. Bosh.
Okay. So half DC, I'm laughing because half DCV, he currently, because he's bound, has a 3.
Oh, okay.
So, and to give you context, this guy's physical defense is an 8, which means he takes 19 stun damage from that hit. So I'll take that. Okay. You should be able to see his blue tab there. And 19 is higher than his... Oh, hold on. Does he have damage resistance? He does. Okay. So here's the thing. That punch should have... Like, you didn't go full out on this.
I didn't know.
You know, so you just kind of like a quick, you know, kung fu chop. This should really daze any living thing, but you can tell from the impact of this. He's got an ability called damage reduction, which just divides the damage.
Oh, okay.
So 19 divided by 2 is 9. You're pretty sure you just hit a frozen slab of beef.
Right.
No body gets through because a regular attack, he gets to apply his regular defense against that. 7 body doesn't get through 8. So,
Okay.
all right. So Crusader leaps forward and hits this guy. Next up is Santiago. What are you doing?
I think seeing that, Santiago's gonna switch forms.
Okay. So what do we see as you transform into Jaguar?
You hear like that feral jungle jaguar cat growl.
Love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Morphs.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, I
so
know.
here's what.
His speed changes too.
Yeah. I'm just gonna change that for you. Here's something I love.
Could be dangerous.
I can easily take you off. Let me just go to the right place here, and then boom, add Jaguar in. Okay. So Jaguar's turn has gone. You have transformed into a weird Jaguar. Solitaire, what are you doing?
Solitaire will aim with a Mystic Strike, the Mental Blast.
Okay. Go ahead. So select your powers. Spend your endurance. Set your combat skill levels, which I think are always in OMCV because it's only in OMCV. And then go ahead and make your attack.
Strike.
Yeah, just barely. Again, his OMCV is 2. So now this is only physical damage reduction, so mental does. Did I look this up last time? I think I did. Well, I'm just trying to remember if damage reduction has to be separate against mental attacks, or if mental attacks, because you ignore physical defense, it's mental defense that he has to use against this specific attack, which makes me think that he does not get the benefit of damage reduction. He does not. So that is definitely the right spell to use against him. So look at this. Huge hit. That's also more than his Constitution score, which means he is stunned. Oh, okay. Well, I took that hit from Crusader. What does your Mystic spell look like? Or your Mystic Strike?
I think with a purely mental one, it's her eyes sort of turn into pools of darkness and sort of flare up for a moment with sort of smoke misting out of them, and then there's no actual visible hit between it, but yeah.
Okay.
They feel it in their minds.
So because he is stunned, he needs to spend his turn recovering from that. So that is what he's doing. And then after segment 12, everybody gets a post-segment 12 recovery. So you can go ahead, click on the recovery button once.
Yeah, transforming doesn't cost me any endurance.
I don't believe so, no.
No, it does. Okay.
Right. Then top of the round is Crusader. Oh, and he gets his recovery back, which is 8. What are you doing?
Oh, it's sort of doing the thing where it's saying, oh, I think I might try that again.
Okay.
Sorry, just to clarify, before I do that, I sort of raise my fist as if to do it again, and I do look at it to see where it's up to. It looks stunned, did you say?
It looks, yeah, like your hit it took and kind of like gave you a kind of a like a blood in the mouth grin, and then Solitaire's eyes flared and this thing went go, and it was like what you expected would have happened with your punch.
Okay, so I have this. I'll put it in chat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying, given that he's he's still dangerous, but he is tied up. I'm gonna do it again. I'll say to it.
So
this
let me
point,
tell you this one thing:
Yeah.
if you're worried about killing somebody with superhero combat, the game is designed to sort of model the kind of like you can hit someone with a fucking girder, and as long as you're not like intentionally trying to kill them, they're going to miraculously survive. So
Okay.
like,
All
yeah,
right.
there's. One of the things that this does, for instance, better than like say GURPS. GURPS is very difficult to model that sort of superhero thing. Where in this case, yeah, like you can hit this guy and not really worry about killing him.
Yeah, I played a lot of BRP, you see. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not that at all. This is when you knock someone's. What happens is when depending on how much below their stun you drive them. Technically, rules is written like on a 0, they're going to be able to get a recovery on their next turn. On a -10, it'll be on the end of the next, or sorry, end of the next phase, next turn. If it's less than 10, we're talking like minutes, if not hours, before they wake up. Until you start doing body damage with a killing attack of some kind, you don't need to worry about actually killing them.
all right.
Okay.
Well, I will do an attack, and I'll sort of say, I want you to pay attention to my friend, and then I'll hit him.
Okay. So pay your endurance, set your powers, pay your endurance, set your combat skill levels, and then take your turn.
I will have a go at the offensive strike.
And then what you could also do, remember, is you could put those combat skill levels into damage class. There's the half DC, because you've got it in OCV right now. The only thing OCV gives you is a chance to hit. DCV, if you want to be on the defensive a little bit, half DC just adds to damage class, means you hit even harder.
I'll do that then. So how do I do that?
So the furthest right one, you see in the combat skill levels, you see it says half DC?
Yeah, got you.
Those are damage class. Yep, so let's tick all 4 of them into there. That'll add +2 combat levels, so you do +2 dice of damage.
Okay.
And
I think I've got everything ticked.
okay. Then click in your endurance.
Pay endurance. Yep.
Perfect. Go ahead and make your attack.
And I do that by use power.
Correct.
Hopefully this is okay.
Oh. Wow.
Is that bad?
I mean, it's a huge fucking hit, but for some reason, you missed. You rolled a 2. You rolled so high that you hit a DCV of 2.
And that's with a +1 DCV on offensive strike. Okay.
Yeah, because you're. Oh, because of the maneuver. The maneuver is -2 to your OCV.
Yeah.
Right.
So the number that you see there in the top right of the chat, that's what the OCV was when you attacked. But then you also rolled a 16 on your attack.
Oh, right, yeah.
So there is, boy, oh boy.
Okay, I just mentioned.
So here's what happens, though. I have a story reason for this. So you're winding up to just, you gotta listen, as you just said.
Yeah.
But there is just, once again, sort of a flash. In your mind only, Crusader.
All right.
There is a flash.
Oh.
And you sort of, and you hit, but what you've done is knock the guy off, like a chair, off its place and down, and he's rolling, so it didn't really take the hit.
Connect, yeah.
For some reason, you sort of are reeling. You don't remember whatever it is you just saw, but you know you've seen this before.
All right. Yeah.
Jaguar, what are you doing?
Well, we do want him to talk. I don't think I have any complications, right? I can still.
So what you can do, we talked about presence last time.
Yeah, what I wanted to do is like a presence attack,
Hell yeah.
kind of, and get him to talk. And I'm going to say I will end because I have my claws out, and that seemed to destroy that last guy, his companion. So I will say, you will speak to us, so I will end you like your companion.
Love it.
Get up, get with the claws like to rip his throat out or whatever.
Absolutely.
If that's possible.
Okay, so presence attack. What is your?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
how many dice do you have at default? It'll be on the core
default?
tab.
Yeah, I have 3.5 default.
Okay, and then you also have, I think, striking appearance as a
Yeah.
your jaguar.
Yeah.
So another +1 from that. So it'll be 4.5 d6,
Okay.
and then you also have used a. Do you have a skill that you think you could check that can add a dice as well?
No, not from him.
Oh yeah, of course not. Which you roll every man.
Okay, the 8 plus, yeah.
Yeah. Let's roll your everyman skill.
Where is that on the 4th page?
Did I not put a skill on you for everyman? Okay, hold on, I can fix that.
Okay.
Very easily. Let's just go to your skills tab.
So I'd use like intimidate. Right? But,
Yeah, and like it won't penalize.
That's something to buy for Jaguar next time.
Absolutely. And you guys, there we go. Do you see it there now?
Yeah.
Also,
So
go ahead and
see
check on that.
Yeah, I'll try. Let's see. No, unfortunate. Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
It doesn't come out. It comes out guttural and feral and unintelligible.
We'll give you 5-6 for your role playing and 7-8 for the previous thing. So roll an 8.5 d6. I don't know if the roll 20 will do 8.5 d6. So you may need to do 8d6 plus 1d3.
Plus a d3. Okay. The dice thing's not coming out.
And then what we're doing, Graham, is we're going to total this and compare it to his presence stat.
I don't know if it'll do. I'll
lot of this.
try to do 8.5 d6, but maybe it might give me an error. I'll write that out.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of the skill, a lot of the like powers like mind control and stuff like that, they go on thresholds of 10. So you're trying to beat whatever it is the resisting stat is by increments of 10. However much you get over that, that'll give you a certain benefit. So presence attacks, mind control, illusions, a lot of that shit all works that way in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Did that work, Carl?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
No.
It did not.
No.
So roll 8d6 plus 1d3, I guess.
Yeah. 8d6 and then plus 1d3. It's not equals plus anything. I don't know why the little cheaty dice one is not working, but it's fine. Not great. Yeah, it's not.
Okay, so you know what? I mean, for whatever reason, this guy's just maybe there's something he knows that you don't, that he is confident that.
So, is that a result of 4?
Yeah.
The result is so no. If you were doing body, yes, this is not one. This is one where you're summing instead of doing the body check.
Summing.
Yeah, because this isn't a contested roll. What we're doing is
Okay.
so the guy's presence stat is a 15. He rolled 20. You need an increment of 10 to at least engender some kind of reaction. But like,
Okay.
and then everything that goes into that presence attack comes from like circumstances or abilities or things you've done or your role playing or skills you've used. That you figure out what that is, you make your roll, and that could like we had yesterday. Robert's character is a growing character, and he had grown himself up to 2 stories tall, and he basically threatened a bunch of soldiers into surrendering because he had a shit ton of bonuses to his roll and then rolled incredibly well. So that's how, an extreme result would be. But this guy hasn't been staggered yet. So next up, Solitaire. What are you doing?
Solitaire's eyes will flash again with that same dark power.
Wow, that's a head.
Yeah. All right. This guy is so Jaguar. You see this, and you leapt down onto him, and you're snarling, and he doesn't seem to be like as if he knows something. But then his eyes suddenly roll in the back of his head, and he slumps unconscious.
Jeez.
Crusader, are you trying to conceal your reaction to having had that vision?
I think I will try and stiff up a lip bit, partly because we're in the middle of an interrogation. He's not shy about sharing what's happened, but he doesn't want to do it right now. He doesn't want to show weakness. Yeah. That's what he's going to try anyway.
Did I put an everyman skill on your
You
tab?
did.
Oh, awesome.
You
Okay,
did.
cool. So if you don't have a skill that you think would apply, you can go ahead and I'm usually open for
Can I try disguise?
hell yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do I use skill? There it is. I'll try disguise.
Okay.
See, yeah, I do it. Or do I?
You do, absolutely.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So you stand back.
But my eyes will flit around the room as if to see, did I see something?
Yeah.
Just slightly.
So Solitaire and Jaguar, why don't you give us perception checks, please?
Damn my role playing. I should have just played
I love it.
straight.
Okay. So Solitaire, you don't pick anything up from what Crusader's done, but Jaguar, you've picked up both Solitaire and Crusader seem to be whatever the pheromonal response is to fear. They're both exhibiting it. And Crusader wasn't before. So we can drop out of our initiative order right now. I'm just going to keep everybody on the sheet just for now. In the event we get another scrap, we can always repopulate it or change the population for it. But do you want to change back to normal, or are you staying in Jaguar form for now?
I might stay for now.
Okay.
And I just kind of growl that I smell fear. And I look at Crusader and Solitaire.
Rightly so, Jaguar. Rightly so. There's whatever is controlling his mind is powerful, but not Dracula. I don't think. Someone German. Someone to be closer.
Solitaire.
And she will describe what she briefly saw, and that it spoke about. She'll start trying to explain how it. And then she just says it spoke German, and she realized that how the mental connection works is maybe hard to explain.
Yeah. So Crusader, as she describes what she's seen, that's not what your vision was. Definitely.
Right.
You can also each go on your sheet and click recovery or recover until your endurance is full up. You guys will have a chance to catch your breath. So. What do you guys wish to do next? This guy's going to be out for, from that last wallop, he'll be out for a good, 10, 15 minutes. And you can keep him out for longer if you choose Solitaire, but...
is it worth if he's going to be intractable? Well, I guess we were caught unawares. Maybe we'll be better prepared this next time if we wait it out.
It does have some much weaker form of the mind control we have seen, but for those not trained in defenses against such things as I was, it would still be enough to enchant to mind control one of the guards here into letting him go. So I'm not sure if talking to him is going to yield anything.
No.
Solitaire, would you give us a arcane lore check, please?
From a thinker, sorry, but
so there's
since Santiago will say, is there a way to intimidate a vampire?
Yeah, definitely.
Holy water, garlic, spray him with garlic. I know I guess I look at Crusader. I guess that's a little torturous.
Solitaire, this guy wasn't, as far as you can tell, you've been in custody of this person since you first fought him in the alley. Why did he spit blood on the ground?
Oh. Is that a connection? Is that creating a connection?
There is certain magics that use blood as a connecting thing.
Yeah, just
Maybe we need to mop that up first next time.
yeah.
Yes, now that you mention it, I have misjudged these bugs, and I would not have thought them capable of such knowledge, but I guess it could have been imparted on them by the puppet master.
You look at the markings you've made on the walls. What are those made from?
Blood.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe garlic paste would be more appropriate. I might have accidentally empowered.
Maybe.
They say cleanliness is next to holiness, so perhaps we should be more careful.
What do you guys wish to do next then?
Need like the sun lamps, garlic, or so is it the sun, or is it the I guess we wouldn't, is it the sun or the UV radiation that hurts these things? The radiation from the sun or the sunlight? I mean,
What Solitaire can tell you is that it depends on who you believe.
like if we get a UV bulb in here, is that going to hurt him or make him feel uncomfortable?
So,
I personally way of finding out.
I mean, I don't know. Graham doesn't know. I'm not sure Crusader knows, but I think the way Crusader would say, he would turn to you and say, I think there is something more spiritual about the sun, the orb, and its centricity to the creative power, to life, that is the thing that perhaps really sort of digs into them. But I could be wrong. I haven't actually interrogated a vampire before. I'll be quite honest with you.
Well,
And I'll tell you now, I did see, just for a moment, a figure. I would characterize it as probably male, glowing eyes, a long frock coat, suit, its face shrouded in darkness, and it was watching, well, me, us, for just a moment, and then that moment passed, and it had gone. That felt a bit more Dracula-like. But
Different, but the eyes, I think the eyes were the same, or very, very similar to what I've seen.
Right.
Glowing, piercing, probing.
But you said, do you think there's some sort of vampire civil war rivalry?
I do not know enough about vampire politics to. But so I would think of it from if this vampire had connections to two separate puppet masters. Is that something that was like a chain of, there's a local handler, and then whoever might be the one who handles the local handler, or could it be conflicting mind control influences?
Yeah, I mean, it could very well be.
Can you parse that out, Solitaire?
So Solitaire, you could, I think, using your, what your reaction was and the link that was forward when you were trying to be telepathically connect to this this vampire. to your knowledge, like, you just met Crusader, who knows what his capabilities may be? Like, if he has some kind of telepathic ability, then maybe that's why he had the vision as well. But if he doesn't, if you ask him about that and he's like, no, man, like, I punch shit, then you'd be like, well, like, how the fuck did you... There would be a question like, well, how did you have that vision then? Because as far as you know, this thing, and what you could then do is do something similar to what you did, is try and, like, Faraday cage Crusader's mind and see if there was any influence of mind control.
I beg your pardon. I'm sorry.
Do we know? Like,
with your permission, of course, Crusader. With your permission, of course.
I don't think you'll find a lot in
Crusader
there, to be honest. But sorry, Santiago.
Yeah, I was gonna. Do we know Crusader? We have a file on Crusader?
I don't think so, no, because he's been really an agent of Excalibur for the most part since he.
Yeah, so we don't know.
But he's got a pretty fucking dark backstory.
Well,
and
are you American? Are you linked to American agencies?
I live in America and do my work there, but I am Argentinian. I do not have an accent because I don't know how to do. Sorry.
Do you have any connection with the CIA?
I avoid the infinite sleep of agencies if I can.
Did you know that's very wise, Santiago? But I'm just wondering. Anyway, sorry. Okay. Do your mind. It's a bit early for Star Trek, isn't it? Your mind meld. I'm just thinking, it's pretty. We're not far off. But,
not far off. No. But the.
Gosh.
So how does
this time?
How does Crusader feel about having been brainwashed before by something, and then having been unwashed, and now working with Excalibur?
Yeah.
How's he feeling about this?
So what he's feeling actually is there isn't a lot going on up there. And what there was that was going on there, what complexities there might have been slightly bleached by the sort of reprocessing that he has gone through. So he feels, if anything, quite vulnerable to sort of mental phased attacks, because he hasn't got a lot of defense to them, and he has been literally almost totally wiped clean. And he's actually in some ways he's quite interesting, because I think he's slightly trying to rebuild who and what he is, having been disc wiped, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
So he's concerned about it, but part of him feels, because he's vulnerable, he looks at Solitaire. His eyes will flick to you, Solitaire, and he just gives you a sort of a slightly narrowed-eyed look, and then he just nods.
And she will try to isolate Crusader's mind and see if anyone else is playing around there.
If you've got a gif of Tumbleweed.
Yeah. What you can feel, the way you described it is fucking great, Graham. I think that's what you would feel. It's like, this is a very traumatized mind that has been broken and put back together and broken and put back together. What I can tell you, there is no sense that anything is controlling him at present. Which means whatever influence he had there, it's not an impulse from some other thing. It is a memory. But it's such a fractured psychoscape, that who the fuck knows where it came from, what would have triggered it, or whatnot, but it was enough.
I don't know.
No. And like for Crusader too, like you guys saw him hit that first strike. Like he is an expert martial artist. For him to have missed and fumbled this guy over, it must have really thrown whatever that intrusive memory was. It would have thoroughly thrown him for a loop. So
that they would sort of sever the connection. Say, it's a broken thing. I hope you find gold to fix it. But it is your thing. No one is controlling you. It was a memory, I think, that you can't tell where from, or there's so many layers and fractures in your mind. But it's a memory you must have seen. There wasn't an external influence or anything. But your mind is your own, which is always reassuring these days.
Mm. Thank you. Yes.
So,
and then you will turn to Widget and say, so like, I know it's quite remarkable that he's still functioning, but he's strong. I know it's a broken mess, but he'll be fine.
what do you guys wish to do next?
I think Solitaire would actually ask Nada, because it's just the three of us and the unconscious vampire. She would actually turn to Chris like, I did have a question which wasn't in any of our briefing notes or the cry for help we received from Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what was supposed to be in the briefcase? And I know Sir Thunder will mention some translation and all, but do you have more of an idea of why the briefcase might have drawn such tremendous attention? Crusader? No, I guess they wouldn't. They wouldn't tell us.
No. I think that is unknown. And we have to be cautious that although it's a briefcase, it could well be documents, but it needn't be. It could be anything. It happened to be a briefcase that's storing an artifact, for example.
Yeah.
Something that might be important to their order. Something that might. I sort of go off in fanciful. It could be something that opens gates that should not be opened. It could be anything.
Yes. Yes. How many clay tablets fit in this suitcase, Kev?
Exactly.
Well, are we going back to Edom? Are we going back to the sort of Middle East kingdom that was assimilated by Israel? Are we going back to? Well, actually, sorry, it's 1963, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it could be anything. But it's clearly something we need to recover. Not least.
Taking good care of it. If indeed she has it.
Yeah, not least we need to recover Emily.
So
we're no further forward, are we?
No.
As I understand.
I mean, do we clean things up and try again with this guy?
We could. Well, is this are there other threads that you've just not told us about?
While we're waiting for that woman, Emily, to contact us back.
That's true. What time is it, Kev?
it's probably around 9 o'clock, 9:30ish. By the time, because it was dark when you guys arrived. I'm assuming you're transforming back to Santiago. Once again, Carl. So okay, I've got your thing there. So, Crusader, you had asked to go there. You guys can interrogate this fella again, knowing the circumstances. Now that you've seen one of the things he's capable of, I'm happy for you to take other precautions if you'd like, and spend some time trying to interrogate him. Otherwise, what else do you think you might? You have Emily's apartment location. You have the scene. Perhaps, Crusader, you may see something that the others missed.
It's unlikely, to be honest.
You also have tomorrow morning. You have a meeting with Antonia Iger, who is your Polizei liaison. So if you want to take advantage of a wider organization, that'll be your opportunity to coordinate like that.
So from my perspective, then, two things. First, we'll investigate this. I'll take a look at the scene of the listening station and just check that out. Secondly, we'll do Emily's apartments and double check that. In fact, probably the order should be Emily's apartment and then the listening station.
Okay.
Because that's probably new, whereas the crime scene, as it were, has already been well looked at by agents who know what they're doing, rather than me. Is that okay? And then we will check with our West Berlin liaison tomorrow. When you said she's going to call in at 7, is that 7 in the morning?
PM.
PM.
Tomorrow, tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, March 8th at 7 p.m. Berlin time. Right. She'll be calling a number where Sir Hugh will be taking the call, and you are all welcome to be there at the call. If she calls before then, it is breaking protocol, and it means that there's something amiss. So long as she's still alive by then that's it. What you do know is Emily is 29 years old. I have a picture for her, or for you, of her as well. So at least you'll know who to look for. And Santiago chased down a description of her clothes, well, at least what she was wearing the night of. I remember to load it. I may have overpromised. I forgot to look. I'll do during. We're almost at end of session. I'll give you the. Fuck it. I'll do it right now. It takes 2 seconds. Anything else you guys wish to do? We talked last time as well that these guys were like the clothing, the weaponry that they carried with them, all was Eastern European make, so Soviet bloc make.
Yeah, it's Jaguar. You identified one of them on the footage, right? This Serban, the rat.
The rat.
Is that someone we could locate in Berlin? You're better at that. Also, like.
Yeah, I think we could, right? Through Interpol.
Street level talking to people and.
Yeah. If he's in West Berlin, you could try and track down. And I'll tell you who would be a good resource for that would be your Polizei liaison.
Mm-hmm.
They will have resources beyond what you've got. One of the things with Until does have sort of a wide global reach, but it's sort of like a soft touch kind of thing. So trying to take advantage of local resources, that's why you rely on, organizations like Excalibur or others. Because 1963 is, what is it? The European Community exists, but the European Union does not. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what's called the European Community, but whatever the precursor, the Economic Alliance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been around. I just checked. It's been around since '57, so it's quite.
For the European Union or for?
No, the European Economic Community.
Okay. My 1 year on exchange in Scotland has paid off. A politics course that I vaguely remember. Okay. There you go. This is Emily Grant.
She's also an exceptional hockey player, I seem to remember.
Put these.
She played on the wing. Very good.
Nice. I'm going to listen to Warren Zevon after the session now.
Santiago would probably say ice hockey.
Is that a thing?
Okay, we're losing our Canadian content status now.
No, I just gotta say elbows up, got it back.
All right, and it's back. So what? That's what Sally. Emily. That's who you're gonna be looking for Emily.
Mhm.
Anything? Anything else you wish to do while here?
Well,
Yeah, I think Solitaire will make sure that the vampire is properly tied up, gagged, blindfolded, tied up again, and she'll remove the blood he spat out. And
Okay.
yeah, maybe I get some garlic cloves to hang around his room.
Okay.
Yeah, go sort of old school.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, just so you know.
Okay. Awesome. Something I really enjoy about these historic games too is poking around, being like, I sort of vaguely remember this, so it's refreshing. So okay, that sounds great. So Solitaire, that's what you're doing with your time. Crusader, Santiago, what do you guys wish to do for? That'll probably take about an hour of prep before you guys will be ready to go to the scene. Anything you wish to do while in the safe house?
no, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, like we're gonna go to Emily's, right? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay. Emily's apartment is a walk-up, one-bedroom walk-up on Bernburger Straße, which is, let's go to the map here. I know we all have encyclopedic knowledge of the, Berlin streets, but just for the sake of the folks at home. Let's see.
Now then.
Bernburger Straße is actually quite close to the wall. It's right about here, not far away from the listening post.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Commute.
Checkpoint Charlie, no less. Nearby. Yeah.
I'll show you. I've got I think I've got only contemporary ones. Because Bernburger Straße is not really that long of a street. A lot of these streets that they've got here, like they're maybe 3 blocks long, but they're just, pretty consequential. Here is... Here's a contemporary thing for... That doesn't have too many modern buildings in it. Here's a example of it. Here, guys. So you can picture in your mind's eye for Bernburger Straße. That church has apparently been around for quite some time too, and apparently survived both World Wars.
Wow.
Because it's in photos from the Victorian era from that street as well.
Right.
And it is still there if you look on Google Maps. Here's the other direction. Looking at that same thing. Looks like from the 70s, I think. So that would be a more Cold War era one. The first one I showed you would have been from the modern era. So,
Yeah.
all right. Anything else you wish to plan before Solitaire is ready to go? Crusader, Jaguar, nothing?
I think we need to reassemble and plan on the basis of the information we get from the next 3
Yeah.
sort of points.
Okay. So you guys are planning. Solitaire, you finished doing all you felt was necessary. You're in the washroom and kind of cleaning up for this, and you've got the water running, and it's not, it's warm water, but there is an enormous amount of steam that seems to be generating in here. And just tell us what's going through your mind as Widget is kind of buzzing around you in an agitated way and still, jabbering away in concern. Whatever stress level that Widget has right now is higher than I think you've seen.
I think her main concern would be that going up against something with such strong mind control, she broke free from the cult, and she doesn't want to go back to that state of being a controlled tool or assassin. So on some level, she feels for these vampire thugs because they're not acting of their own accord, and she's just worried that her powers won't be, or her mind won't be strong enough to resist the thing that is controlling them. I was intrigued that it seemed to almost try and entreat her to have a conversation when it said to wait for. So that's sort of mix of mostly fear of losing her mind to it, but also I didn't want to talk.
Okay. So you're sort of thinking of that, and maybe dismissing or chatting with or assuaging, I guess, Widget. When you look up, you realize that condensation has formed on the glass, and you can see there is a single word that has formed on it. And as you're struck by that, you can see that there is an invisible finger is almost trying to form a second word. Do you allow it to proceed, or do you do anything?
I think she's almost trying to and then she'll restrain herself from lashing out because she wants to know. We know so little, so this might give us a clue. But the mirrors already start shaking slightly.
Okay, so let me slowly form this word for you. The second word. And it begins forming a third. So no, it should not be an S on there. That was a typo. So what is on your fogged up mirror?
Your master's lie.
And that, guys, is unfortunately where we're going to have to leave the session. So bring us back to our main page here. And for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. Oops, let me... Come on. There we go. Boom.
There you go.
Okay. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for Chapter 2 of our Dracula Dossier Champions mashup. As is always the case, if you have any comments, I'm telling them, Anna, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or the campaign we're playing, or the adventure, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. One of the things I will point out, too, that is so fucking cool about this campaign is that it is an improvised campaign with a number of different options. So every time you go to a Dracula Dossier adventure, you can choose to take different elements and different approaches, not just with your vampires or whatever else. Every clue, every location, every character can have different outcomes. So even if you know it, you can still make a unique and surprising and hopefully intriguing adventure out of it. There's a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server as well, where we have channels dedicated to champions, and not to the Dracula Dossier per se, but to the assorted games. We have talked about it quite a bit on the channel before. In addition to that, there's Find a Group, GM Discussion, Virtual Tabletop Chat, channels for other streamers as well, too. So both Graham and Carl run channels of their own, and you can find games that they have run as well. And their podcasts as well. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, including the Dracula Dossier. I did go snooping because I was hoping to find the Hawkins papers, which were only available. I have the PDF. I don't have the physical ones. You could only get the physical ones for having backed the Kickstarter a decade ago. There's also, if they don't have something in stock that you're looking for, you can put it on a want list and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code NOBLEMUSER, all caps, all one word. It's in the description of the video. You'll save 10% on any purchase of $10 or more, and that discount code will change as of October 15, 2025. So if you're listening to this after that time, just come back to one of our more recent videos and you'll see what the current discount code is there. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart heroes, our super agents, I guess I should say. So Carl, Graham, and David, thank you so much. This is, we needed to have something to fill our time, but while we're waiting to get our quorum back together for our Traveler campaign, nobody was asking for this mashup. So I deeply appreciate the players for diving in to give this a try. I'm having so much fun writing and running this, so thank you very much. We will be back to see how Solitaire intends to react. Actually, all of our heroes intend to react to the various intrigues going on and the machinations of the Dark Lord. But until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.